This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 492, How to Deal with Money Regret by Kristin Wong of thewildwong.com. And I'm Dan, your host, here each weekday reading to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And I want to give a big thanks to Four Sigmatic for sponsoring this episode. Four Sigmatic makes drinking mushrooms and superfoods delicious and easy to do with their mushroom coffees, mushroom superfood blends, and mushroom elixirs. Get 15% off with our special code, FINANCE, and visit foursigmatic.com/finance. That's foursigmatic.com/finance. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the show, but for right now, let's get right to our post for today as we optimize your life. How to Deal with Money Regret by Kristin Wong of thewildwong.com. Parking tickets are almost a rite of passage when you move to Los Angeles. You're not a true Angelino until you've racked up 4 or 5 of them. Everywhere you go, there are rules and meters and permits dedicated to how, where, and when you may park. It's inevitable that at some point, you will screw up and get a ticket. It happens. But it still sucks. So when I walked to my car after meeting a friend for a work date in Atwater Village and saw a white slip of paper tucked neatly under my windshield, I was thoroughly bummed. I'd been doing great financially. I just got a new writing gig, my budget was still intact for the month, but now my entire budget was derailed by this $50 mistake. Oh wait, this is Los Angeles. Make that a $72 mistake. If you're anything like me, it's not easy to get over money mess-ups like these. Maybe it's a trait I inherited from my mom, who would spend days dwelling on a speeding ticket or overcharge or other unexpected and otherwise avoidable expense. Hobby Lobby once charged her 10 cents extra for some candles, and I swear the woman marched back in the store and demanded her dime. I was 16 years old and mortified, and maybe it sounds mortifying to you too, but my mom grew up in poverty. Her idea of a dime and my idea of a dime are very different. Enter the money regret budget. I think most of us can all relate to the feeling of a financial setback, though. You kick yourself, blame yourself, and you can't shake off the mistake. You might even experience a few traditional stages of grief. You deny. I'm sure I can fight this ticket. You get angry. They should have posted the sign more clearly. Along those lines, I've even bargained with myself. My money mistakes were so consuming, I used to keep a money regret budget to earn back my money mess-ups. It can make you feel better about the money you've lost. Anytime I had a financial setback, I would write down the amount of the mistake and work on getting it to zero. For example, let's say it's a parking ticket for $72. My money regret budget would then be negative $72, and I would add any savings or windfalls to that number. So if I got $15 cashback rewards on a credit card, I would add that amount to the budget, making it minus $57. If I decided to skip the appetizer at dinner to save $8, I would add that to the budget, making it negative $49. Repeat and repeat until I get to zero. Of course, this doesn't really mean you get that $72 back. It simply means you've saved $72. You could have still saved and not gotten a parking ticket and you'd have $144. You're just making yourself feel better, but that's kind of the point. What happens when we dwell on money mistakes? It's quite possible that the more you dwell on your financial mistakes, the more likely you are to repeat them. Part of the reason I dwell on setbacks is that I think beating myself up will solve the problem. If I devote enough time to rumination, I probably won't repeat that mistake, right? Not necessarily. While worrying can serve a practical purpose, there's a big difference between practical worrying, like anticipating a job interview, and rumination, like dwelling on that stupid parking ticket. Worrying about the future can help you prepare for it, to a certain extent. But worrying about the past doesn't do much good at all. In fact, research shows that punishing yourself over a mistake could make you more likely to repeat that mistake. For example, one study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that subjects were more likely to go into debt during an imaginary trip to the mall when they were asked to remember past spending mistakes. And other research published in the Association for Applied Psychophysiology and Biofeedback discovered that failure made subjects develop anxiety and lose concentration, which got in the way of a future success. But why does this happen? To put it simply, quote, success has a much greater influence on the brain than failure, end quote. That's what one MIT neuroscientist said to Scientific American. We seem to operate better when we're in a more positive state of mind. Go figure. Turns out there's science behind all that Tony Robbins stuff. On the other hand, we do learn something from our mistakes, don't we? I learned to always set a timer when I park in Atwater Village, and I haven't gotten a ticket since. We should spend some time thinking about our mistakes, if only to figure out how to fix them or keep them from happening again. But ruminating beyond that is probably just punishing yourself for no reason. You just listened to the post titled How to Deal with Money Regret by Kristin Wong of thewildwong.com. And a big thank you once again to Four Sigmatic for sponsoring this episode. Four Sigmatic makes mushroom coffees, mushroom superfood blends, and mushroom elixirs, a really easy and tasty way to get the health benefits of different kinds of mushrooms. Beyond the portobello, an entire kingdom of mushroom exists, with many being shown to have amazing health benefits for immunity, energy, and longevity. They have different mushroom drinks for different benefits, and not only coffee, but they've got hot cacao as well, and what they call mushroom elixirs, which don't have caffeine. All you have to do is add hot water. It just takes a minute, but you can also use their recipes and mix with honey and other ingredients if you want to. So check out their different options, and we've got a special deal for you today here on the show. You can get 15% off your order by using our code FINANCE. The link is foursigmatic.com/finance. That's foursigmatic.com/finance, or use the code FINANCE. And we thank them for sponsoring this podcast. And that's a wrap for today. Have yourselves a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.